Okay, today I want to talk about algorithms because algorithms are ruining lives. Now, point of clarity, when I say algorithm, I mean a system designed to analyze, modify, or serve human behavior. I don't mean the actual mathematical system itself, I mean the construct within it, rather the constructs, plural, that have begun to irreparably damage human behavior and the lives of millions. I'm talking about Google, search algorithms, and facial recognition, Twitter, moderation algorithms, and censorship. I'm talking about credit scores, loan applications, insurance, social media, and so much more that would never fit in the video because algorithms control our lives and they actively harm us. Let's start with a small example and then build on it outwards. I was recently suspended on Twitter by an automated system, and that account is now fully dead. This means nothing in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't, but inconveniences me in terms of direct communication channels to other creators. That's about all. This ban was certainly implemented and likely enforced by an algorithmic system designed to purge content that the creators of the platform disagree with. Void of context, void of critical thinking, this algorithm is responsible for the banning of countless people for countless reasons, many of which have nothing to do with an actual policy violation, but they are upheld regardless. This example is insignificant. I just want to restate that because I and everyone else are probably better off without that platform. There is a studied and measurable degradation of critical social and analytical skill sets that occurs directly as a result of Twitter. However, in premise, this is the important part, an algorithm designed to keep you interested is there, serving up increasingly hostile or extreme content, and then bans you for engaging with it or falling prey to that cycle. It is sadistic and harmful. But that's just one company, and it's an area where we all know that the algorithm ruins our lives. How about gaming? Activision Blizzard has patented an algorithmic system for online matchmaking that will place users in specific games with specific opponents to encourage the purchase of microtransactions. The system is intended to have players lose and then offer a solution to that frustration, but going even further, the system allows for player accuracy to be adjusted in real time in order to make them lose and speed up this process. This algorithm is literally designed to eliminate the idea of meritocracy. It is designed to hurt player experience intentionally and maliciously in order to extract a greater profit from each user. Activision Blizzard is not alone in this, and they do reject the idea that this has been implemented in any games, but they patented it nonetheless. Electronic Arts, as well, holds a patent for dynamic difficulty adjustment, which is an algorithmic system designed to manipulate how games operate in order to keep players online and get them to spend more. EA staunchly denies, yet again, that this system is being used in their flagship titles, but the premise is clear. It is an algorithm made to harm the player base and push them into spending more money. Let's get a little bit more extreme. April 5th, 2011, John Gass gets a letter from the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles because a facial recognition algorithm decided that his features were too similar compared to those of a criminal and revoked his driver's license. John Gass was told that this was his responsibility in order to clear his name because the pros of an algorithmic facial recognition system outweigh the cons. John Gass was collateral damage, whose life was nearly ruined by an algorithm. Let's go deeper. 6-year-old Sophie Stipes of Indiana is told by an algorithm that her Medicaid benefits are being severed. Those benefits keep her alive. The reason? She had failed to cooperate because a computer algorithm designed to cut costs, specifically, found a small paperwork error made by her parents and reacted to it. In 2019, it was discovered that the algorithmic process behind high-risk management programs in hospitals all across the United States would more than likely exclude Black patients, because the algorithm was built on a system where healthcare spending was correlated to one's projected healthcare need. The result was that families operating on assisted programs or with a cheaper history of healthcare spending for any reason whatsoever were deprioritized because algorithms are ruining lives. In 2014, Amazon began training a new recruitment algorithm. This program would screen applicants, reducing the workload of actual people and finding the best candidates, ideally. One problem, just one. This algorithm excluded women because it was built on more than a decade of previous resume submissions, which contained a supermajority of male candidates. We could debate the reasons and possible solutions for hours to this problem, but this algorithm decided that anyone who is a woman or mentions women in that application should be removed from the highest categories, and by doing so, it very likely ruined lives. Target, the retail giant. What comes to mind when you think of Target? A great place to shop, a big red logo, and overpriced fake jewelry, or an algorithm that was designed to, and successfully did, predict then modify the behavior of pregnant women who shop there, even so well as to accidentally notify the parents of teenage mothers who didn't even know yet. because the algorithm was made to change the shopping habits of pregnant women during one of the most vulnerable times in their entire life, and then reach out in order to cultivate new activity dictated by the store. Algorithms are a problem. On the one hand, they can automate and improve a vast array of societal functions, yes, solving crimes, increasing productivity, etc. But on the other, their consequences are so far beyond anything a single human or even a team of humans could ever reasonably execute, and the accountability is so low, even non-existent at times. How can we trust in the life that we have if it is governed by programs where one mistake might ruin us completely? And if it does, that's just the cost of the algorithm. Having it is better than not having it for most, so tough luck. Let's shift gears. Anyone who has ever heard of deepfakes will probably know that the algorithmic ability to alter someone's digital appearance is both impressive and terrifying, but let's expand on that by just a couple of steps. This is an algorithm that, if used properly, allows people to fabricate entire videos, speeches, explicit scenes, and more, which can become nearly indistinguishable for the average person when compared to the original. Now let's combine that with social media. Algorithmically driven promotion leads to viral content based purely on interaction and often relative intensity. How extreme the content is can directly correlate to how many clicks it gets, especially on the more subversive sites like Twitter. Algorithmically falsified video content can algorithmically spread across the entire platform, and if you project even further, there are facial recognition programs being used in law enforcement, extremely flawed ones, and court proceedings. Believe what you see is an age-old saying about truth in what is witnessed, but because of new algorithms used to falsify visual content online in a digital age, that statement is less true every single day. There is this sick obsession with automation and efficiency. If an algorithm can do it better, then it should be done better. If an algorithm can increase productivity or profitability, do it. Yes, do it, but what is being ignored is the disastrous alternative where these algorithms manipulate, control, alter, and influence our lives all day, every day, and it's almost impossible to even find them. Recently, Facebook announced that 2 of its artificially intelligent chat robots had stopped using proper English because they deduced that English lacks a proper reward. Not my words, theirs. The robots began speaking in near gibberish shorthand, except it wasn't gibberish. It was actually their own English language derivative that had been improved and altered. These are programs created by Facebook engineers that stopped using the language they were built with and made their own, posing an entirely new set of questions about how far is too far, how much is too much, and when do we realize that creating things to govern our very lives and then losing track of how those things even operate or communicate with one another might be a horrible idea. The question that always comes up is, how do we operate at scale though? But those 2 simple words, at scale, contain a world of problems underneath. Operating at scale is most often used by global companies to explain why their algorithms ruined lives. Operating at scale means they serve millions of people, even billions of people, and it's very difficult, so they make some mistakes. At least in the case of social media, that's the most common phrase that you'll hear. And the only way to do that is to hand over control to automated systems, but even then, these companies lose track of those systems. A while ago, I had a conversation with my YouTube representative. It's a different one now. The last one was a guy I met only once, I think. He seemed cool, but I don't even remember his name. But what I do remember is what he told me about the algorithm of YouTube. The algorithm, he said, is so big and so complicated with so many teams working on it, the right hand has no idea what the left hand is doing. The system is broken down into different departments, obviously, who don't even know what the others are working on, and it is possible to go between those departments and get information from one to another, but it's not possible to catch or remedy problems quickly. Obviously, YouTube is one of the more harmless examples on our list, considering other algorithms deal with incarceration or medical health, but even still, the feedback loop of content the program thinks you want to be served can spiral out of control and, for example, create a scenario where videos of children, home videos of children, other people's kids, are being served to communities of pedophiles. Algorithms govern our lives, and they only ever increase in power. Everything we do is subjected to algorithmic decision-making. Loans, hiring, gaming, shopping, even sleeping. And in some ways, that can improve our daily functions. In a lot of ways, actually, but in others, it places us on a bridge with no railing and absolutely no safety net. If an algorithm decides that you don't get a loan, you probably don't get the loan. Even if it was a decision made in error, even if you actually deserve, could use, and would have received the loan from an actual human being, you probably still won't get that loan. And that's just one thing. When a facial recognition program decided that John Gass was a criminal, he was a criminal. He was not innocent until proven guilty. He was guilty because the computer said so, and the people behind it didn't care. When computers make decisions that deprive you of your healthcare that you need, healthcare you would otherwise have had with no issues, that's a problem. It's a life and death problem, and it's a problem where algorithms make it exponentially worse because correcting things, seeking accountability especially, and undoing mistakes at scale is becoming more and more difficult. When you search Google, you see algorithmically curated information chosen by a program for you to access. When you search Bing or DuckDuckGo or any other search engine, you see entirely different information, because even our commonly accepted portal of information itself is totally governed by algorithmic systems choosing what we see, when we see it, and for how long. If Google decided to tell you that the moon was cheese, and experts confirm the moon to be in fact cheese, the algorithm would purge dissent, and for tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions, the moon would be cheese. That level of computer control is terrifying. There is a limit on how much of our lives should be governed by algorithms. We don't live in a utopian fantasy land where all progress is good progress, because these advancements are a house of cards. Sometimes the next big innovation for productivity and quality control is a bad idea. Sometimes the systems in place to serve you and make your life easier actually put you in danger. And in my opinion, we are already screaming past that point in time at incredible speeds. Maybe I'm just a product of cynicism, but I don't see this ending anytime soon or anywhere reasonable. This will go too far, and in my opinion, it already has. That's it. Be skeptical of algorithms. Don't always embrace innovation, and never fail to question why things happen, or especially who controls them, because all too often, and that's what I learned while researching this topic, and it was terrifying, it's not someone controlling them, it's something. People don't even see it. And that thing can ruin your life, and it does to countless people. If you want support, there are links down below. I know it's kind of ending abruptly, but I'm kind of burnt on the topic. If you want to support, there are links down below. Odyssey is a YouTube platform alternative with a lot less emphasis placed on the algorithm, as far as I know. Locals is a place where you can subscribe for $5 a month and watch all of my content with no algorithm at all. There's another YouTuber to check out, merch, etc., but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.